I'm a very late introduction to the meeting. I met some of the colleagues yesterday in Parliament, and I said that even though I had a dinner that I had to go to and speak at, and going on to something else, that I'd love to just look in and say a few words. And it's just so wonderful on such an important day to have you all here from France. I think the determination is wonderful. Now, I know that some of you will have been at the Leave Means Leave rally this afternoon, which I spoke at, and it was a wonderful atmosphere. I mean, the Remain people, the people who want to betray the referendum and betray the people's vote, had a sort of boring march the other week. They talked about having 1 million people there. I think there were around about maybe 300,000. Well, I've been on 2 bigger marches, the Countryside Alliance March and the Anti-Iraq War March. So they've got nothing in comparison to what we did. But today we should have been celebrating, but as I said at the rally, we're not celebrating the fact that we haven't left tonight, but we are celebrating the fact that we're stronger than ever, we're more determined than ever, and we are not going to let the voice of 17.4 million people be betrayed by a bunch of politicians who are betraying their manifesto. You know, if we end up having to have another referendum, and I will do everything I can to stop it, we want you to come over, because you're at me. No, I mean, I just want to say a few words. I remember I was elected to the British Parliament, the UK Parliament, 30 years ago this coming June, 1989. And I remember I came in, I voted against joining the common market or staying in it. We didn't get a vote to join. They didn't ask us. They joined, and then they asked us 2 years later, do you want to stay? And of course, a lot of people said, oh, well, we've hardly been in. We'd better be, you know, British people are very polite. And they thought, well, we've only been in 2 years. We better not vote to leave already. So we ended up staying, and I came in determined that I was going to work towards getting us out of the EU. And I have to be absolutely honest. It's been quite a miserable, sort of soul-destroying time for many, many years. None of us really thought that we would ever get the referendum. There was the referendum campaign, and we worked very hard, but we really didn't think we would get it. And when we got it, of course, the establishment and the elite and all those people who think that they're better off in the EU, because they are better off personally in the EU, many of them, they just assumed they were going to win. But if I had said to you, if I had been talking here even 8 years ago and thought then that we had a chance of, in 2016, having that referendum and winning, I would not really have put a bet on it. I mind you, I'm not a betting person, but I wouldn't have put a bet on it. And I think for you, you know, people will say to you, oh, France could never, ever leave the EU. That's what they told us, and they were wrong. And they were wrong because the people were behind us, and the people were absolutely sick and sore of the European Union. So you have that opportunity to really build that momentum to get a referendum. And that is what you should be obviously aiming at. Now, I know there are lots of speakers, and I just want to say one more thing, because I don't know whether it's been much mention of today in Parliament. You know, I think probably in 30 years I've never felt so ashamed of my Parliament, really, in the last months or two. From the day after the referendum, there were people in Parliament who set out to destroy the result, who set out to thwart Brexit, who set out in a very clever way, and we took our eye off the ball, as the previous speaker said. We believed in democracy. We thought we'd won. So, you know, we kind of got onto our back foot. The reality was, from day one after that referendum, they were organising to thwart it and to stop it. And we've seen that in Parliament with procedural moves, with legal jargon, with all sorts of ancient rules being used. But they're not going to win, because we know that we've got the people behind us. And I think I wanted to just say something about Northern Ireland, because for me, one of the things you all heard a lot about is the backstop. It's become a new trendy word in England, the backstop. The backstop, of course, is a very clever move, designed probably initially by the European Union, but picked up by Theresa May, the Prime Minister, and pushed very, very hard by the Irish Taoiseach, Varadkar. And it is designed to ensure that we, as the United Kingdom, stay as closely aligned to the European Union. And they use the fact of the Belfast Good Friday Agreement as being the issue, because, of course, no one wants to see a border between Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland. But that issue has been deliberately exaggerated, has been politicised, and has been deliberately used by both the Irish government, and I personally think Varadkar wants to be a commissioner, but, you know, they all want to be commissioners, and the European Union. And our government, Theresa May, a unionist, conservative member of Parliament who supposedly believes in the union, signed up to that backstop. And I come from Northern Ireland. I'm a London MP, but I come from Northern Ireland, and I will never, ever vote for anything that allows Northern Ireland to be separated out from the rest of the United Kingdom. And you would feel the same if it was a bit of France. So, thank you for giving me the genuine privilege of speaking to you all. Today at that rally, I felt very humbled by people who had come from all over the country to be there. We thought we were there to celebrate, but you have come even though we're not celebrating. But we are more determined than ever. We are not going to give up. In fact, the fight back has started today. We will be leaving. I hope you can join us soon. Thank you.